Hi everyone. So today we're going to do the animation workshop. So I'm going to go through uh, how to add animation to our static sections through After Effects. You should have an understanding of Photoshop. So I might cover that in another workshop, but for this workshop, it's just going to be After Effects and how do we start animating our static sections. And so I am going to open up my After Effects and we're going to create a new file, a new project. I'm going to press don't save. That was my file that I was working on earlier. And we are going to do new composition. The default settings should be good. You can relabel this. Let's do animation 1. So the default settings should all be okay. We can change the background color to whatever we want, but black is fine for now. Let's see, advanced. Everything should be okay to proceed with. You can screenshot these if you guys need. If anything's changed and something might not be working, just screenshot these and make sure they're all kind of at these default settings. Press OK. And so we have a black square here, which is where our animation is going to take place. To the left here, we have our animation panel. Basically, whatever we import into our project will pop in here and we'll be able to add effects. Down here is our layer panel, and this is our timeline, which we will be using to add effects for the animation. Let's see, right here we have all sorts of property dialogues or modules that pop up. If you guys aren't seeing any of these windows, we can go down to window up here, and you can check all these that I have checked. In case you guys are missing any, you guys might have more, might have less, but yeah, so these are kind of what I'm working with. And the workspace here is set to default. Yeah, so that all should be okay. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is hopefully you guys have, I'm pretty sure you guys have all of them sections before. So if you have a section or we're gonna do a section, but keep in mind you can do this with a perspective or even a plan. But section's probably one of the easiest way to kind of get this notion across. And we can have a lot more fun with this section. So I am going to find my section here that I'm going to use as a base drawing. We are going to go, give me 1 second. Documents. Okay, and let's see. Oh, okay, let's see if that's it. Yeah. Let me just make sure this isn't, yeah, okay. So I'm dragging this in from a folder into here. And it's gonna import it. And then if you move this up, it'll pop up in our animation dialog box here, that animation window. And so it's a lot like Photoshop. We can start to scale this down to fit into our window ratio here. So I'm going to press shift in order to keep our proportions. Select that, press shift, make sure it's in the frame here. I'm going to move it up a little so we have some space. You can see some black on the some edges, kind of the black background, so I'm just going to make it bigger, make sure it covers the whole frame. Let's see. Yeah, make sure you're pressing shift as well so you can keep your proportion. Yep. So yeah, so now we've imported our base image. And so off this base image, we're just going to start adding silhouettes and other types of little video clips in order to bring to life our section, right? And start to tell the narrative of the design that we want and we kind of want to promote, right? I think as our profession has moved on, right, it's more and more about storytelling. So the next step in kind of what's trending now is animation, and so it just helps get past kind of that static constraint that we have with our regular type of drawings. And so I'm going to show you how to bring in stock footage from just a Google search into and import it into our file here, so we can use it and manipulate it for the needs of this animated section. So I'm gonna open up here. I've done some quick Google searches, but I'll do it again just so you guys have an idea. So just Google, and then it's what did I Google? I think I Googled silhouette, person, maybe walking is always a good start, and then I just put in video as well at the end, so it kind of narrows it down. And iStock photo, I've been on there, and then if you click videos here, Shutterstock is probably the easiest to use, but I know I think Pond 5 is actually pretty good as well. Let's see. Let's go back to our Google search here. Video Easy. I forget if this one's good. We'll try it. Pond 5. We'll click on that. So this one, Pond 5, there's some silhouettes there. That's actually good if maybe you're doing kind of a more urban section or more plaza or park. What we want is kind of see, these are starting to get there. We kind of want someone walking towards us from the front view. So let's see. Oh, this one's perfect here. So I'm going to click on this, and I am going to right click and say video as. And so this is good. This is already MP4, so it should be able to import to our project file pretty easily. But I'll show you another one. I think Shutterstock that doesn't have MP4s. It has some type of web format. So I'll show you how to get past that in order to use the stock footage. So let me just save this in a library here. We're gonna go to let's get Winter 350 workshops, workshop 3, library. And so I've started a little library for myself, and you guys can do the same. Have a walking one, right? I'm actually just gonna save it, kind of in this general. And I haven't been good about labeling my files, but you guys can be good about this. Let's do walking. Let's do 01, right? And before save. So let's actually go back and try this one really quickly. So I'm going to go back to my file folder, and I'm going to go to that library, file, people, and so let's see, here, and I'll move this so you guys can see. So here's that video that I saved. It's MP4. So let's see if this works. If not, there's kind of a way around it as well. So let's see. We're going to drag it, and it should paste right into here. Oh, perfect. I think it worked. And we're going to move this guy up into our animation. And now he's kind of on, see, he's on top here, right, of the section. And so what we can do is, here, I'm going to make sure your bars are moved maybe to 8 seconds. Your secondary bar, and let's see, kind of here, primary bar. Let's do 8 seconds. And so if I press space, you know, it kind of shows that the animated person walking, the silhouette. And so I hope that you guys are starting to get the picture here, that what we want to do is crop this guy out and put him into our section, and that starts to animate the section itself, right? So I hope this isn't in the way here. So what we're gonna do is make sure we select our walking person, which is this file, right? Walking.mv4, and we're gonna go to effect. What am I doing? Okay, so select it, effect. Okay, that's right. So make sure it's selected in your layer panel, not necessarily your kind of a file module here. Make sure it's in the layer, because that's where you're going to do your effects and your cutting out the silhouette. So yeah, so you can see that selects the base file, the background image, and then this one selects the silhouette clip. And so we're going to go down to effect. We're going to do, let's see, keying, and we're going to do color range. And then similar to Photoshop, we're going to use the eyedrop. And if you press it, you can see it starts to cut out the white background, right? But we do see some of the stock watermark. So I'll show you how to get past that, but that actually looks pretty good. You can press the one with the plus symbol there, and you can kind of keep adding to it, right? If we had kind of another color in the background. And then fuzziness, I like to just add a little bit of fuzziness here. Kind of it sharpens up the silhouette itself. And so once we do that, you can see that he's cut out. And so we can also do go back to effect and go to generate, and we're going to do fill, right? And that starts to fill it with whatever color we choose here. And so that hides the stock footage watermark, right? So let's pick, let's change it up from pink, because I always use pink, right? Let's do, maybe like a dark orange, right? Kind of like a lighter, darker, bright orange. That looks pretty nice. Let's see, red. Red's always kind of nice. Bluish. You know, yeah, let's do orange. Let's see, let's go a little darker. Yeah. Or press OK. And so now that we have our silhouette filled and cut out, we can again move it right wherever we want. Very similar to Photoshop. It's just kind of it's again just trying to find where the tools are and the procedures to do it. Photoshop is a certain way, After Effects is a different way, so it's just trying to figure out the same. We're doing kind of the same things that we do in Photoshop, right? But it's just in a different type of procedure. So let's make this small, right? We can start to scale it. Press Shift to keep the proportion. And again, actually we can put this guy in the boardwalk here. And that's about 3 feet or a meter, right? And that's kind of the right height, maybe a little smaller. Use your kind of landscape elements to reference the scale, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be eyeball, right? It has to look proportionally like it's actually a good fit. And again, I think when we start working digital, we start to think about kind of perfection. But these are kind of also meant to be more of a sketch exercise, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, and not everything has to be to the smallest metric of unit, right? 1 millimeter is not going to change the whole image, right? So Keep that in mind, and then we're going to move our here, as if we move this blue symbol here, it kind of shows us how it's being animated, right? And we can speed it up and just to see it, but we can also put it at 0 and press space. You can see how you can find different silhouettes and start populating the section even more in order to kind of tell that story of how the user is going to experience a space like this, right? So yeah, so now we're starting to get the hang of that, right? And so let's have some fun and let's find some birds or some maybe insects, some butterflies or other critters that we can add to the section as well. And so I'm gonna go back to let's do, maybe we'll stay. We used stock photo. Yeah, let's go back and maybe let's do silhouette. Let's do birds first, maybe. Yeah, so see, we have all these birds, right? This one's interesting. I like this one because it kind of it changes in depth, right? Let's see, this one, just a couple of birds. That might be nice as well. These are kind of more in the background, right? These are kind of all over the place. So it's really, again, it's kind of like finding entourage when you're doing a Photoshop rendering. You just have to trial and error some of these clips. And so let's try this one. I think this one would work. Say video as, it's MP4. Let's go library, stay a little organized, birds. I think I might have downloaded this one before, but just in case, we're just going to do birds. Birds, let's do 0 to 1, MP4, save. And then wherever I saved it at, right? I'm gonna go back there, library, birds. Let's do, there it is, birds, and let's import it in. So again, we're just dragging it. Here, we can click off this guy. Let's see if we go back to composition. Yeah, this, here we go, project. Right? And so let's go back to this. And we're gonna drag the birds clip, right? And okay. And then drag it into our animation, and it's going to put that in here, right? And so if we press, again, if we use this little blue symbol here with the line, you can start to see where our animation is happening, right? You see the birds swirling around. So if we press play, it kind of shows it there. So again, what we're going to do, just like we did with the person, we're going to cut them out and fill it and add it to the section. So I am going to select one where they're kind of all in, kind of at the 3.5 seconds mark, and go to effect again, keying, color range, eyedropper, right? And that's just it. You can see some of the watermark there, so I'm just gonna, if you press shift, you can add it, right? Or you can press this little eyedropper with a plus, and we're gonna, here, there you go. And it's kind of hard to tell, right? But hopefully you can tell enough to kind of get rid of that whole watermark, right? And again, we can keep them black, but I even if I'm keeping them black, I like to fill it just to make sure I don't have any kind of unwanted. It just cleans it up a little bit because it kind of stays a little pixelated if you just leave it as is. So we're gonna go to effect, generate, fill, and again we can change the color here. Maybe we can have some fun with the birds, right? We can maybe you know, what's a good complementary? We kind of see them. Maybe yellow would be nice. Although black is probably the easiest to understand, right? But if you want to have some fun with it, you know, maybe a yellow, maybe like a yellowish. Yeah, let's stick with the yellow for now. And again, we can move it and scale it as we want. And as you can see, it can start to kind of really inform our really kind of animate our section and bring it to life, right? Yeah. And so what I also like to do with these silhouettes is I like to change the opacity as well. Of course, you can change it here, but I like to do, let's see, transform, right? I'm going to move myself there. We can change the opacity here. I like to do about 80, maybe, yeah, 80 is good. Yeah, 80. I think maybe 75. Anything really lower, well, you know what, let's try 50. Let's see what that gives us. Yeah, 50 actually, it kind of blends in the background. It's kind of nice, right? But I do kind of want to see it a little bit more, so maybe let's just do 70. Yeah, let's try on like 70. Yeah. Yeah, see, that looks good because it kind of blends in the background as it goes away because of the weight, and yeah, that feels pretty good. And so we can do the same thing with the person, right? If you just click on him, go down here, transform, change opacity. Let's do 75 for him, maybe. Yeah. And it actually works really well, right? It's kind of just an accident, right? But he's kind of looking up, right? Almost like if the birds are he's following the birds, right? And so again, like these little accidents, and again, it's a lot of trial and error. They can help you really improve upon and enhance your narrative, right? When you guys are kind of presenting your projects. And so we press space again, stop it. And something I noticed is that probably around, you can see kind of the birds being in front of them, and we want them behind, right? But that's a simple fix. It's just like Photoshop. We're going to put the birds behind him. Right? Yeah, and that should fix that. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it. Right? And so I'm going to quickly add some other silhouettes, right? Just so we can get, because I want to show you how to add sound, and it's really simple as well. Very similar to just adding your silhouette videos. So let's do, I'm going to go to my library and select some that I've used before. So let's do, we can do butterflies. I've done butterflies. I've done all sorts of things. But let's just keep it a little simple here. Library people. So let's do. So let's do this one because I'll show you how to mask out a person as well. And this might be a good. And yeah, I'll show you that in a second. So let me mask these people out actually. So let's drag it again. Oh, here. Let's go back to project. Let's drag it in. I'm going to do this quicker. So we're going to put this up into our animation. You can just drag it down here. It's the same thing. It saves me a little bit of time if we do that. Again, effect. Let's do, what is the key? Color range, right? Select that. Press this. Select the watermark there. Effect. Key. No, not key. Generate. Let's do fill. And I'm just gonna eyedrop this guy there, right? make it the same. And yeah, we're gonna move this again. We're gonna move it. Gonna press Shift, scale it down. You can start to reference the other people as well, so you kind of have the same scale, right? Maybe she's a little shorter. There, right? If we press play, right, we can have that. So for this one, we can mask out this person here, the silhouette here, because I kind of just want to show these, right? So what we can do is if we select it and we go to, let's see, effect, let's see, oh, okay, layer and then mask and then new mask, right? And it gives you this box here, and you can just select it, double click it, and you can change it, right? You can move it, right? And it basically masks out that it gets rid of that silhouette, right? So then I'm gonna press play again here. And it's not perfect, right? Because you can see the kid's kind of trampling on the plants there, but that's okay, right? It's more about telling the story, right? That's really forgivable. It doesn't have to be perfect. And as you can see also, like, we don't want that kind of end, right? That's kind of weird, right? That he pops out of nowhere and he grabs the kid. So we can stretch this. So stretch basically stretches out the time. So if we stretch it out maybe to 120-ish, let's do 120, and we press, it slows it down, right? Because it's stretching the animation. So as you can see, by the time it gets to 8 seconds, it's already going to loop. So we get rid of that silhouette coming in and grabbing the kid there. Yeah, and so again, we can do the opacity, right? We can change that to maybe 75 or so, right? Might be too, yeah, maybe that works, right? Maybe we want this person to pop up more. Because this guy was, let's see, what was he at? Some walking was at 75. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's just because I filled it, right? But if we save the color, we can use the exact same color, right? And so one more thing that I want to show here is also some of these transformations that you can do. But so I'm just going to copy and paste this guy. So again, Control C, Control V. It'll copy and paste them. I'm going to move them here, and I'm just copying and pasting to show this technique, right? So let's go to transform. And so if we go down to scale, if we bring this to 0, select him, and so what I'm gonna try to do is as almost make it seem like he's walking more towards us, right? By using the scale. So as the time goes on, he'll get bigger. Hopefully this makes sense here. So let's try to do that. So you have to click on this, and it'll give you this little point, right? And then you can drag it wherever you want. Maybe close to maybe half the time. We'll scale him to full time, and then we're gonna press that again. Hold on. What am I doing wrong? Is that what I did wrong? Oh, yeah. So sorry, did it in the opposite. So let's clear that. And so at 0, I'm gonna make them smaller. Right. So let's 40. I'm gonna move him there. And then so I'm gonna scale. Okay, it's going to be there, and as it goes along, I'm going to move him to kind of that size, right? And so if we go back, you know, he's getting bigger, right? Right, so what we can do is move him kind of there. And so we can also move his position, right? Because he's kind of floating in the air, right? As he's coming up. So what we can do is go back. And if you go to position, right? We can move his position maybe there. Press that. And then if we go down to here, right, where the scale takes full effect, we can move them there. Right. So let's try that now. Yeah. You see, he kind of stays in the same position, right? Even though he's getting bigger. So yeah. And so last thing I want to show you is how to add sound. So let's do, you know, I like to just, I think I just Googled like rainforest sounds, although it's not a rainforest, right? It kind of creates that ambiance. So rainforest sounds, and then maybe let's do MP3 or MP3 clips, maybe. Try that. Sound. I like using the sound Bible. You know, you can guys. There's probably a bunch of good websites for this, but kind of like using this rainforest ambiance, right? And here, let me turn down my volume. Sorry, it's probably loud. And so if you just download this, let's see, MP4, right? Rainforest ambiance, okay. Then I'm gonna go to my folder. It's probably my downloads. So here, I'm gonna move this here. So it's in my downloads, and I'm just gonna drag the file down to here. Well, let's see. I can probably drag it down to my layer panel. Yeah, let's see. Is it there? Yeah, it gets kind of really really messy. So make sure you're labeling stuff and not being as messy as myself. So yeah, there's our kind of rainforest, right? And we can change the audio levels, right? We kind of want it to be more in the background, maybe like a 12, right? So it's not as, maybe it's just a hint, even maybe less, maybe 25. Yeah, like that starts to feel good. You don't want it to be overpowering, right? Especially if you're trying to layer other types of audio files on here, right? Yeah. Yeah, and so now we can also add some text, right? If we click here, horizontal text tool, make a box, right? It can be section. Let's do boardwalk section. Right, and this is really generic, of course, right? Choose different. Choose a better title. So you kind of have your. If you guys don't have this again, it's probably under the window or maybe here, maybe your panels or whatever. Just this is the way I have it set up, and it's been set up. So just try to find your windows through here, or through, maybe it's through the extensions or the workspace, I mean. And so just play around with those settings. So let's make that a little bit smaller, maybe 60. maybe 48 actually. You know, that starts to feel pretty good. It's not overpowering our section. And so change that kind of up here, right? Or we can align it up maybe to the bottom there, so it kind of has some alignment, right? So you can just label it like this, or you can actually animate the text as well, right? So there's some effects and presets panel here, and if you click that, hopefully this goes for me here. Again, trying to record and do all these things at once takes a toll on your PC, but let's see. So if you go down to text, and is that text or is it? Oh, actually, it's animation presets. Sorry, animation presets, and you go down to text, and then I like using this mechanical one, and you can play around with so many of them, right? But mechanical, let's try maybe insert text, right? So, what did that do? Okay, that's really quick, right? So maybe not that, maybe mechanical. What does this do? Whoa, yeah. So you can start to have fun with some of this stuff, right? So let's see. Which one am I looking for? I'm looking for kind of a more typed in, right? Animate in maybe. Let's do typewriter. Yeah, typewriter is actually the one I like using just because it's simple, right? But it gives you some nice. Oh, okay. So I did it with. So let's see if we click this, and we do transform. Let's see. So I think, yeah, this is our animated text. So let's move our key here. Here, let's reset. Maybe let's reset this. Let's see, is it a position maybe? No, it's our position. So let's, maybe it's under here. Sorry, yeah, here we go. This is what happened. So, yeah, make sure like you're kind of at 0. As you can see, like my text is starting here, right? Because that was my symbol was way over here. So let's move this. Let's do this kind of at the start. Close these so I can stay organized. This typewriter. Here, let's see. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm just gonna redo this because I feel like I messed something up and I don't know what. So let's do it again. So let's do this. Boardwalk section. Press enter. And the short for this is V, but I'm doing this just to kind of show you what things are. So let's do, let's put a line to there. Press V there. Sorry, let's delete that. Yep. So yeah, now we have it selected, right? V or click the little arrow, and let's make sure this is down here. And I actually think you can do it this way too. If you go to Animate and actually, let's see. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just show you this way. Effects and presets. Let's see. Yeah, animation presets, text, animate in, typewriter. Okay. Let's see what happens now. So, interesting. I don't know why it's not. It was working in the first one, right? So let's do that. There we go. Maybe I didn't have it selected or something. So yeah, so then, it is kind of quick, right? So maybe we want to stretch it. And so here, actually, again, I don't know why. If we go to 0 and now click it, maybe, let's see. Okay, there we go. And then again, we can stretch it to kind of slow it down, maybe 120 or so. Let's try that. Let's go back. Yeah, it kind of slows it down a little bit, right? And so there's so many presets you guys can explore and do that, but this is a good simple one, right? And then kind of just adds enough to keep the composition interesting. Let's see. So I guess the last thing is, well, before that, I just kind of want to go through Handbrake as well. So let's see, Handbrake. And because, so let's go back to our here, and let's do, did I have that? Oh yeah, I have them up on this window here. Give me 1 sec, I'm going to drag this. So, Shutterstock, yeah. So I'm going to drag this here. Okay, so Shutterstock, when you save the video, so I'm going to go save video as, it saves it as a web media video, right? So let's go back to my library here, my library people, and so I'm just gonna, let's see, walking 02, save, right? And so we can't import web media files into our project. So let's see. Let me just pull up the folder here. Library people. Let's see, who's our guy? Yeah, so if I try to drag the file that we downloaded, we can't, right? It doesn't let you. So, even if we move this to project, and try that, right? One more time. Doesn't let you, right? So what we want to do, right? This is our file here. And so what we want to do is we want to use Handbrake to convert it to a MP4. So we just drag this, click OK, right? And here we're gonna do, the format's MP4, right? And we can go to start encode, right? Oh, actually, I forgot to. So you want to browse, and it's okay. I already saved it somewhere else, but let's do. Let's go to the library I've been making here. 3050 workshops, WS3 library people. Okay, save, right? And so I'm going to start encoding. So that should have it up here, right? Saves it right there. And so we should be able to just drag it in here. Yeah, there we go. So it's kind of a tedious step, but it's a way around to get stock footage and use it in our perspective in our section here for our animation. So I'm going to drag it down here, right? Move it up so you can see it. Maybe there, right? And again, yeah, we can just do our kind of workflow here now. That's keying, right? color range. You know, select the watermark there. Effect, generate fill. Let's do our eyedropper here. Okay. Yeah, we can move him kind of alongside here, or maybe in the background, right? Or we can replace our guy, right? But it's just to show you how to get the Shutterstock imagery, or other. You might run into other websites that have that format, right? So yeah, now he's kind of he's in our section here, right? And so when you're, that's what kind of Handbrake provides, and it also makes your files, if they're too big, your kind of your last file, you can create really small files without sacrificing the quality. So once we're kind of done with our own. Here, let's hide. Let's keep the cowboy. Actually, let's hide the cowboy because we messed around with the scale with that guy, right? So let's show that we did that, and let's hide. Let's hide him. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Just very quickly, let's actually do some tree stuff, right? So let's do library trees. We did people. We did kind of the birds, and you can do that with insects and other stuff, right? And so let's do. I found this growing tree. Let's see, is it this guy? Yeah, so this is kind of a cool animation, right? Shows a growing tree. And so what I did is, again, I think I found it on Shutterstock because it's a web based media file, but I converted it. It should be this one. Converted it into MP4, so I should be able to drag it in here. Let's go to project. And of course you can just drag it in here, but I just want to show you that this is kind of a way to do it, just so you kind of get in that mindset of it. Let's see, so this guy, yeah, set him here. Again, try to stay a little organized, unlike myself. Yeah, so there's a tree. So what's cool is like we can start to show kind of this growth, right? And so it is a little pixelated, right? Because it's not, if you wanted the high quality, you'd be buying a bunch of these, right? But we're trying to do this without paying or being too expensive, right? So let's do the same thing. Let's go to keying, color range, press the eyedropper here, press of course do that and select the watermark, and let's fill it. Generate, fill, and let's keep it red so we can, let's do a lighter red maybe, so we can kind of show how, maybe like that. Yeah, let's just look pretty good. You can start to see it, right? Now I'm going to put it maybe on this side. Yeah. So that starts to look pretty cool, right? So we can move them towards the back, right? Because we don't want them to interfere with our entourage. So let's go to the back, and yeah, isn't that that's pretty cool, right? And then we can also, scale him and stretch him a little bit, maybe. Be free to stretch him. Maybe it's more reasonable to kind of keep the same type of scale as the trees in the background, right? To kind of show that that's the kind of trees that you're talking about, right? Yeah. See, that's just looks kind of cool, right? And so we can change the opacity on this guy as well. I like to do it down here, but you can kind of move the fill there. But I just like doing it down here in the transformation. Let's do maybe like, since it's so intense, let's do like 50 maybe, because we do kind of want to see the background as well, right? Yeah, let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? And it's not perfect, right? But messing around with it, you guys can start to perfect some of these things so things don't clash like that, right? Yeah, cool. And so now to get you can add a little kid voice, right? Kind of laughing and running around because he's kind of running around to give that ambiance, and maybe some some little step like in the background. You can add some step stomping clips, right? Not stomping, but little step like someone stepping and pacing around. Add that kind of feel to it, and maybe even like a wind in like a clip that's like a trees ruffling in the wind, right? The leaves of a tree ruffling in the wind. So you can do that. And so once we're all ready to um, export our animation, we go to File, and I should have been saving this project. It's totally I haven't saved it once. So let's do workshops. I'm gonna save it right in here. Final animation. Actually, this is probably my animation files. We're gonna do WS3 animation 2. And so let's go to so once we want to export out, we go to render queue, right? And we go to what am I missing here? Export, add to render queue. That's what it is. Let's do this Adobe one, maybe. Is that what I wanted? No. Might take a while. I think this gives us some setting options. But actually, since we've set them up already, kind of at the default settings, it shouldn't matter. Let's try that again. I don't know if it's doing anything. But let's see. Export, add to render queue. Hopefully this goes well. Don't crash on me. It's doing something. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so now we have that. We have what you want to do is you want to do you want to output to, let's see, yeah, here we go. Oh, there's our media encoder. We don't, let's not mess with that. Let's cancel that, right? And let's go to our folder. Sorry, go into workshops, WS3, final animation, ABI. That's what it's going to export as, right? Boardwalk, let's see, boardwalk animation, 2, save, right? And so once we have that output, we click render. Should take a little while depending on your computer, so but not too long. Let's see if that was a little too quick, so I'm a little concerned. Let's see if it did it. Let's see, workshops, 3, final animation. Maybe not. Let's see what happened. Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay. So what I did wrong is that I just chose one of the just that one clip of the tree growing, right? So let's delete this. Delete, and so let's go back to the animation here. And there's another way to do this. Let's go to project, and actually, I wonder why. Yeah, let's just try this animation, see what happens. So yeah, make sure your composition is selected, export. Add to render queue. No. Now this should be file, export, there we go, add to render queue. Okay, animation one, there we go. Okay. So now let's click render. Hopefully this goes well. And you know what? I make sure again I'm forgetting little steps here, but let's make sure wherever it is, it's outputted to our folder, right? So we'll go back and double check that because it is gonna export it. I think I have a default folder where I have it exporting to, right? So let's delete this again and let's just redo it. File, export, add to render queue. Let's do here. Oh, actually I did do animation one. Okay, cool. So now we go back, right? And save it as an AVI file. But as you can see, we have our animation, right? And of course, we can slow down some of the maybe the birds are too fast, right? Something like that. But we can go back and start to do all sorts of stuff to it again. Yeah. So when it comes to when you want to share this, I'm pretty sure you can share AVI file, but it just kind of knows like if you guys want to share it to Instagram or you guys want to upload it to a website or an online resource, it's probably easier to do that before, and that's where Handbrake comes in again, right? So if we go back to back here and we drag our animation here, let's do this, drop that in there. Let's see, videos. Yeah, so I'm gonna browse. You can probably change your default. I should probably do that. It'll save me some time here, but I just kind of want to show you. Make sure you're kind of staying a little organized, unlike me. Library. No, sorry. Animation, final animation. Animation 1.1. Sure. So yeah, so this format should be able to upload to Instagram and any other type of. It should be pretty universal to, for any really either website, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that to upload to. And let's just make sure it's there. Oh, of course I didn't press. Sorry, start encode. Right, start the encoding. Because that's in before, right? There we go. Yeah, there it is. And M4V. Yeah, and that should be your final animation, right? Ready to go. Share. Yeah. So I hope this helps you with future projects, and I'll keep I'm still playing around with animation, but I'll keep trying to share some of the explorations that I'm doing and share tips and tricks. Well, thank you so much for your attention, and I wish you good luck on your projects, and I'll be back for other workshops. Thank you.